It's a week before Christmas, and my mom is watching The Sound of Music on prime time ABC. They had to go back 60 years to find something decent to put on TV. At the club, they had a young lady singing Zombie on the guitar, telling us it was all in our heads at the annual mixer. Downtown on State Street, it was crowded with people going in and out of Macy's, looking at the windows. When Elizabeth Andrews and I first rolled out the labyrinth at Fourth Pres, she told me a lot of the clergy there were really in their heads. At Christmas time, we're all navigating the space between being a Hallmark Christian and being a zombie. It's all about what's in your head. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Sunday Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about bleeding to death, Bryn Mawr Presbyterian, making lemonade out of lemons, experiencing death, and Nutcracker on ice. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Zephaniah. God pardons us from being persecuted from the world. And from Philippians, the peace of God surpasses all human understanding. The gospel was from Luke. Even a brood of vipers can receive good instruction. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Leonard Hamlin. He preached about our collective memory. It's who we are and provides social cohesion. When it gets broken, it results in abuse of power, unauthorized ministries, and social unrest. Often it's broken on purpose to exact gain through coercion, fear, and intimidation. When we come out of the wilderness in order to cash in, it's a misguided effort out of a misguided desire. It's the viper's den. We're often shaken and sense that something is not quite right. If we read the papers today, we sense that something is not quite right. We can't get along with each other. We have wars and rumors of wars, and often we can't even speak to each other. These are signs that something is not quite right and that we've drifted off our course. When we live in cohesion of the memory of the past, we can welcome the stranger, be kind to our neighbor, and say hello to somebody we don't know. Mr. Hamlin suggested we've all probably kind of drifted away to some extent. Even a slight deviation can take us way off course. Mr. Hamlin gave the example of Korean airline flight number 007 that was shot down over the Soviet Union in 1983. The pilots had a 1.5-degree variation in their course. It caused them to slowly drift into Soviet airspace with disastrous consequences. How many of us have a navigational error? We know we're on course when we stop to help someone, when we smile at someone, and when we're being good to our neighbors. When we're on course, it comes easily. When we have to fake it, we're probably being a Hallmark Christian. It's like drifting off into Soviet airspace. The light is coming into the dark. God makes it so, and he gives us the capacity to accept both the dark and the light, remembering the past while being mindful of what is entering in. We can navigate it without going too far off course because the light is always here with us. At St. James Cathedral, the sermon was by Christopher Griffin. Chris preached about rejoicing as a way of preparing for the approaching darkness of winter. As the darkness comes into the world this time of year, we are assured the light is always here also. Chris said he loves the Christmas lights of the season for this very reason. We're instructed to rejoice in the scripture. Chris said St. John is speaking to people burdened by war, division, fear, and doubt. He's speaking to us. We can oversimplify the scriptures, because most of us will never know the level of fear and subjugation expressed there. Many, many of us in our time probably won't experience that level of pain and suffering. We'll simply never know it. But that's where the church comes in. It's supposed to be there for all the people having very different experiences together. It's the we and we all need to be there. Whenever we hear the fear not, it's always accompanied with the arrival of the good news. Worry is the flip side of fear. Even now, we are called to rejoice. Most of the story of the Bible comes from the depth of despair, and we need to respond with rejoicing. It sounds a little weird. St. John betrayed his followers by rebuking them and then offering them instruction. Those of you who have two coats, give one to the poor. Be fair in all your dealings and don't abuse your power. Seems simple enough. We're all filled with expectation. Rejoicing doesn't mean the absence of fear and doubt. It means making the most out of your ability to make choices. We have made some bad choices in the past, but this is now an opportunity to do better in the future. God is near. We can make better choices. Advent is the time to let rejoicing in and let the transformation of better choices begin. Claire Booth Luce said later in life she felt like she was living in the shadow of her former self. I was out Christmas shopping last week at Macy's on State in the former Marshall Fields building. I was struck by how almost unrecognizable the architecture of the place seems to be, but it's the same architecture. The memory of it and the new experience, both at the same time. We're all moving through the architecture of the past, and we have to be mindful of how we're living it and how other people are living it. We all have our heart's desire. We want our freedom and to be loved. We can never be completely free because we're captives of God's amazing love. The Hebrew people were both free and captive in the land of Egypt. They longed for their freedom. They reinvented God in the person of Moses to lead them out of that reality, setting in motion the idea that we're in control. 3,400 years later, we're still trying to create that reality. God can never be completely behind us or ahead of us, so he's side by side with us instead, so he can be as close as possible to us. It's a tortured love affair for everyone involved. We do all have our heart's desire. The trick is to navigate our desire in a way that doesn't take us too far off course. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video. I'll be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.